Hi, and welcome to another creative moment. In our last video, we talked about how we are absolutely tortured when we don't forgive someone who's offended us or hurt us or even made us angry. And I said then that there are other parts to forgiveness that sometimes we need to consider, and that is that sometimes forgiveness has layers. And here's what I mean by that. Sometimes we discover that after we have forgiven someone for something, a situation will arise that is a fresh pain or a fresh hurt, even a fresh anger about the consequences of how they hurt us originally. For example, maybe your child is involved in addiction and that has caused your family a lot of financial consequences, maybe even some family dynamic changes. And you have to forgive your child for getting involved in addiction and for choosing that addiction over the family. And that can be a really painful thing. But as time goes on, you may discover, okay, I forgave my child for that, but now it's the family holiday. And our traditions are all changed because my child has continues to choose addiction. Or perhaps it is that your husband left you and divorced you, and you went through a lot of struggle to forgive him. You finally forgave him, and then something happens. For example, your child graduates, and you discover, oh, my child's memories of this are forever changed, and now it's awkward, and there's a lot of, I don't even want to see him during this, but I've forgiven him, so I need to, and but we should be together to support our child. That's what I mean about layers to forgiveness. It's not that you haven't forgiven your child for being involved in addiction. It's not that you haven't forgiven your ex-husband for having left you and divorced you. It's that now there's something new and fresh, a new and fresh pain or anger, and you're going to have to forgive again. Now, forgiving again is scriptural. In fact, Peter asked Jesus, okay, how many times do I have to forgive someone? And Jesus said, Peter, 70 times 7. And Jesus wasn't saying, okay, 490 times is how often you have to forgive someone. Hey, did y'all see that math on the fly? Right? Right? He was saying as many times as it takes. You have to forgive him as many times as it takes. So when we discover that there is another layer that we have to forgive someone for, go through the same work that you did that we talked about in the first video. Acknowledge that it's not that what they did wasn't wrong, it's that we're no longer holding them accountable for it. Now, occasionally, actually not occasionally, frequently, in my own case at any rate, I discover that this fresh pain or this fresh anger has caused me to rehearse the original offense over and over and over in my mind until I'm experiencing again, I'm laughing, but it's not funny, till I'm experiencing again all the pain, all the sorrow, all the anger again. And I find myself in a position of having to go back and say, no, I choose to forgive. I choose to forgive. So we've got a couple of things going on here. We have the initial forgiveness. Then sometimes we have layers to that forgiveness, and that's actually pretty frequently. And then sometimes we find ourselves in a trap of rehearsing that initial offense or rehearsing an offense that we've already forgiven, and we find that we need to forgive again. And forgiving again is just walking through that process and saying, you know, Lord, I choose to forgive this person. I'm no longer going to hold them accountable. They're accountable only to you for this. I'm going to consider that they don't owe me anything. So I hope this clears up any misunderstanding, or maybe even gives you a deeper understanding of what forgiveness is and the amazing, amazing power that it gives us in our lives to move forward. And you know, like I said before, it's not that Jesus is asking us to somehow dredge up forgiveness from the depths of our soul. No, he has given us a huge supply of forgiveness when he forgave us. And he's just asking us to give some of it out. I hope you enjoyed this creative moment. You can find more of them at acreativemoment.com. I hope to hear from you, and until next time, see y'all later.